can't really think of anything else that I'd really need to be or wanting to be watching at the moment. This Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Russell Brand thing, even though Brand is a current contradiction and enigma for me, because I am really opposed to excesses, and Brand is in excess, short of Michael Hutchins, but he is, on the right side to try and help everyone else. It's a really weird thing, because it's like, what side are you on? Well, I'm on the side that is not in excess. So it's like when Alex Jones does his little model of, what's your position, what side are you on? I get a circle and I just draw basically a crosshair on it. I draw like a cross in a circle, right? And if you go left to right horizontal, like the sunrise, yeah, there's like top is too much and bottom is not too much, right? And then if you go left and right is like, this Biden taking over surveillance control, Chinese social point system, every single movement and motion is legislated against and controlled, or more freedom. I'm on kind of like the right-hand side, more freedom, and the bottom side, not too much. But maybe it's good to be on the borderline, right? Maybe I'm kind of like, in the middle of, not having too much or not, and kind of like, but way to one side, away from, the control and surveillance. But why do you need control and surveillance if people would be behaving and conducting themselves voluntarily, amicably or altruistically, but they're not. But I think Brand is like Brand is like on the side against surveillance control and so forth, but he's rocked it with his ExpressVPN and, his digital armor and everything, so he's all for security, but just not for surveillance. But I think Russell Brand may be actually be on the side of surveillance with the media, But anyway, I think Brand is like, he's on my side on one of the crosshairs, but on the other side, he's way over the top. So it puts him in a quarter, and it might not be the quarter of Biden. I think Biden and Harris are in like the top left quarter, I don't really know which you want to say is left and right. I don't think there isn't a left and right anymore. I think there are just quarters, right? And Biden's in and Harris are in one quarter with our government. MI5 chief wants more cameras everywhere and his ULEZ surveillance, and and I think Brand is in the other corner, and then I think I'm definitely not in the quarter of Brand, even if I was, close to the borderline. I don't think I am close to the borderline. I think I'm in a quarter exactly of my own, and I don't know what the other quarter is. The other quarter is there for loads of tech and surveillance and more laws, but not fame. Not YouTube and social media, which would be kind of like, what would that be like? It would be like, if you don't want more things in excess, but you're on the side of surveillance, what is that? Locking yourself in a log cabin, in the woods. It's almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando, with his tripwires and booby traps in the woods. Literally, with his family, some log cabin which is all tripwired and got surveillance everywhere, like some kind of Cambodian Nazi camp. I'm definitely not on that side, but they don't want anyone to know that they're there, there's got to be some kind of compromise, surely. But anyway, actually, why did I even start talking? I started talking because I think every time they go into this subject, every time Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Brand go into this subject, they're on the like addiction subject now. They're like really, really, really on this like addiction and these foods and the government like pushing more and more and the advertising and so forth. And, Brand is basically specifically focusing on like, you can't stop yourself from doing it, right? Whether it's a chemical thing or an addiction thing in the food, in the substance. What I would have loved to have been able to have said to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. while he's talking to Brand about this is just thrown something in there, which is that I would have liked to have raised the point. It would have been great to have been able to throw this in and get Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Brandt to respond to it. It's not just the substance itself, or the fact they're making it, or the fact that you want it and like it, and you keep going back and getting it. Where are you getting it from? There's this other part to it, and it's called "If you build it, they will come," which is kind of like, okay, they're manufacturing it, but on the model of "If you build it, they will come," it's like the strategic plan, and this is in the local councils of a strategic planning department, right? It is like the game board. So, you got like Rod Stewart with his train set in the attic. You've got like the local council with a little model of the town. Like in Back to the Future. Basically like in Back to the Future, which is Back to the Future 1985 is one of the main things that has these issues in it. They've got the shopping mall. All the kids go down to the shopping mall, the skateboards. It's cool. That's what you do in the future, and then you've got the hoverboards and blah, blah, blah. And then all the fields where the farmer was is turned into, Lion Estate or whatever, all the building development everywhere. But you've got this plan thing. Like Doc Brown, he goes, Marty, build a model. I'm sorry it's not exactly to scale, and he's got this like model of the town, and he's got it all laid out where the car's going to go and the lightning's going to strike and all this and that, right? The planning, the strategic planning, like, when you've got a military commander and he's got his like battle board. And you get this in like James Bond with MI5. You've got all, fucking MI5 chief with his screens everywhere and his Google Maps live fucking tracking chips on fucking everything, and, cameras and everyone walking past on their Google cameras so you can see everyone who walks past each other. This is what they want with facial recognition, if they're happy, if they're sad, looking for criminals, blah, blah, blah. It's the strategic planning. And the strategic planning is being overlooked in this, because if you authorise and approve the implantation of these outlets, right? This is a word Howard Crowhurst uses quite a lot when he's talking about Karnak, implantations, implanted stones. These stones are implanted. Is the installation of these outlets in places everywhere. And I think that if you go back, it's like the Chinese restaurant, okay? No one really sees Chinese people in England. Okay, there might be some Chinese people or some English people who look a little bit Chinese, right? But fair enough, right? Whatever. Chinese restaurant. Suddenly, right, when you're little, right? Why was it, you get these Indian people, Indian family, corner shop, right? Indian families started popping up with corner shops. I'm not saying that they didn't have Indians working in factories as well, but there was this thing. Indian families come to England, they open a corner shop, right? And then you got Chineses. Every little village, right? You drive around England, right? You can go on the A1, right? It's all fields, potatoes. Drive down the A1. Okay, then you've got your butty wagons. You've got your traditional stuff, right? You've got your... Okay, there's fish and chip shops. We've got fish and chip shops, right? It's like the fucking trip to Jerusalem. In Nottingham, we got pubs, you got alcohol. But particularly with the... there's always been food. There's always been Friar Tuck at the side of the road, roasting a chicken, like selling, fucking chicken, get your fried chicken or whatever. I'm not saying there hasn't been, right? But what I'm saying is, right, my personal opinion on it is this, and I might be wrong about it, but it's got something to do with Prince Philip and the military and Charles and Elizabeth, and there's some mechanisms of implementation, there's some diplomacy, there's some handshakes, there's some opportunities there's something, right, going on with, you see, you go drive the A1, get off at Long Bennington, there's Chinese. It's got Chinese people in it. And they're knocking out this plum sauce and that. And every single fucking village then has got one. And then you've got, like your Indian as well, If you've only got fish and chip shops, you've only got fish and chip shops, right? But as they, they get fish and chip shop and the Chinese. Okay, what happens as a family, right? My mum makes Yorkshire puddings on a Sunday, right? Sunday roast. And then maybe once a week they get fish and chips as a treat, right? But then what it ends up as is, we get a Chinese one night, then an Indian another night, and then, pizza. Then you got your Domino's pizza, then you got fish and chips another night. And what you end up doing is it's every single day of the week, right? A different thing. And I know in Scotland, particularly, this is when you get all those, we kind of interesting Scottish accents with the like Indian people, and then you got, they got these battered Mars bars. But battered Mars bars, where's that from? Mars. You can't have a battered Mars bar unless you've got Mars bars, and Mars bars aren't having a fucking potato field, right? They've come from a industrial factory. It's not jumped into a boat in a fucking net, right? So it's these little villages out in, whatever. Now I know in America, right, in the back of most people's minds, right, if you think of like some kind of fucking Levi's advert or Top Gun or whatever, you've got this, OK diner in the corral, Route 66 out in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's a fucking gas station. There's a cafe. Okay, no one's saying, right, that they aren't feeding them burgers and they're not eating chips and they're not eating fucking whatever. And they've got, Rumpole comes in, Boss Hog or whatever. There might not be any Chinese restaurants out there. They might not have fish and chips. They might not have whatever. But that's where all, this is where the whole fucking KFC and McDonald's thing kind of comes into it. Because that's America, right? So you've got, flipping burgers, grilling burgers or whatever, but more than normal. But then, it eventually gets out there. And you've got all these different cultures. And I think it's kind of like they play on the novelty. It's something different, but it doesn't end up being something different. It becomes something everywhere. But the thing is, right, if it's not there, you can't have it, right? So if you're out in the middle of Arizona, right, and there's only a fucking diner, right, and a hardware shop, then, if the farmer's growing food, then that's what he's having. He's having what he's growing, and he's having what he can get from the burger shop. Now, if he goes to the fucking diner, and if he's getting, 4 times as many burgers and fries as what he's meant to have, he's got a problem, right? But he's only got one problem, right? He's only got one problem. And he might drive all the way from the farm, even though he's growing turnips and fucking whatever on the farm, right? He might, keep going to the diner. But, he's not going there all the time, even if he goes there and he's eating too much. Maybe he might eat too much at home, if he's fucking just eating his fucking, sweet corn or whatever. But the thing is that at least he's only got one problem, right? That can be... It can be tackled, and also he's going to be doing exercise, right? If he works on a farm, he's going to the diner, he's going to be doing a lot of exercise because he's going to be driving the tractor and he's going to be moving stuff around, so he's going to be quite fit. It's not as much as a problem, and I know that he might really, really, really kind of like not be able to stop going to the, fucking diner or whatever, but it's a thing, he's probably going to getting a Coors, getting a Budweiser or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But the more problems they are, the more the problem you've got. And the fact is now, you see, he's having to at least work for it. He's having to at least, from the farm, he's got to have to fucking get all the way to the fucking pub or to the diner, which is his drive there. He's not walking. He's not doing... If he was going to walk there, then, it might be some more exercise, right? But he's likely doing some exercise, right? The problem is that they've got these places now installed all around everywhere, so you can't escape them, right? Even if you wanted to. And it's the fact that they're positioned and installed, okay? And it's kind of overwhelming in a way if you think of when you go into, like, if you're at the airport and they have, like, the duty free and you go into the shop and there's all the perfumes. I never liked it in those shops because it's just too overwhelming. I mean, you can't smell what's what. And it used to give me a headache. The first thing that happened to me when I walked into those duty frees, I got a headache from that perfume. It actually physically gave me a headache. It's just too much, and I don't know how they put this on your wrist and you put that on your wrist. How can you really smell what that is when the entire place is engulfed in smell? It's like in the pubs, when everywhere's covered in tobacco smell, and when they actually banned smoking, all the toilets started stinking because really they all smelled of wee anyway, but you just didn't realise because there's tobacco masked all the wee smell coming from the toilets in the pub. So they weren't actually been cleaning them because they didn't know they smelled that bad. It's that kind of thing in the perfume shop, really. I mean, I don't know how you can tell one from the other, this is the thing. And really, the model for that is like this food, though. You got this food everywhere, all around you, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying they didn't have problems even way back with Trip of Jerusalem, back when the Ladybird book, the enormous pancake and the fucking rest of it. Maybe they had different problems, but it wasn't anything like this because you, at least back then, even if you've got fried roasting chickens, and even if you've got the enormous turnip, and even if you've got the fucking, pub, Trip to Jerusalem, or whatever the fuck it is, not everyone had a car, and you had to do a lot of movement and exercise, and you can see this in those photographs. You look at the 1800s photographs, we're not saying they weren't big people, but percentage-wise, this is what R.F. Kennedy's talking about, the percentage of people. And now, it's just all around, everywhere you go, and you really have to get into the countryside or whatever. I managed to get out of it, and I managed to get into a little daily routine where we're going doing some exercise, keeping healthy, trying to keep away from all that. But what I did is I'd go in and have a dabble. I might get some sweets or I might get some up, but I had a bit of control and I had it under control, right? And I was on what was happening. I got into a good routine, and I managed to get some self-control and get into this routine. Even though those things were there, I was still tempted by them, and I was still going in. But I just kind of have a little bit of a, it's a bit of a treat and reward. It's all tied into social order and socialising. This is what they got with the coffee. You ain't just going for a coffee. You're going to meet people from work or friends to sit down, and the experience of having a coffee. This is all cosmopolitan. This is like in Italy, It's not actually just about the food. It's about sitting down in a place that looks nice with nice tables or a nice view and enjoying that while you have a drink or something. Otherwise, you're just sat there looking at it, right? Lifestyle and socialising are intimately weaved into it. But they did it with family. And now it's affecting, at least you've got the family unit. Now, this is the thing with Facebook and social media. And this is why they're banning social media in Australia, because what you've got the family unit having some food, and then you've got the social media coming in. So the kid's not even paying attention to the family anymore. He's got his face in the social media. He's not even talking to his family. So the social media is even stealing you away from your family. Now, even if you're eating these foods and you're overweight, at least if you're having a Christmas party and you got your grandparents around and you're actually enjoying Christmas with other humans who are your family. But when you've withdrawn even from that, and you're just spending Christmas looking at Mark Zuckerberg's fucking mobile phone, you're not even talking to your family, right? And, you might even be eating the food. It's almost like some kind of competition for your attention, but it's not even a person. If people were actually trying to get, and this is the thing, this is what this is the problem with, Schofield and Deck and the rest of it. It's like, now they want me attention. Oh, you're roaring, cheering crowds at the fucking O2 Arena. Oh, here he is, but, you can't really touch him or see him because he's on the stage about fucking, 100 metres away. Don't worry, I'll shake all your hands one by one, even if you might have COVID or not. Don't worry, you get photographed, what kind of relationship is that? It's not a real relationship at all. It's bullshit. It's just fake bollocks. You know, and I think this is why George Galloway gets annoyed with it. You know, because George Galloway really is one of these last people who is fighting for these social units of real people doing real things, you know, whether it's playing music, talking to each other, you know, they used to pull the piano out or whatever, even if they're, you know, working class people, literally, you know, like straight out of fucking Lord of the Rings in the fucking Hobbit party, you know, if they weren't as drunk. But, you know, that's not what Starmer wants. Starmer wants everyone very sensibly in their you know, houses with their family, with very big rooms, very prestigious houses, all with security gates at the end of the road, only talk to their family, and then the kids being educated by the government through their fucking laptop computer, not by their parents. And, you know, all their moves are being watched and recorded from a Mi-5 in central London, you know, and if anyone does anything, they fucking know about it. And all the streets, if they haven't used up their fucking carbon credits, if they're even allowed out of the fucking house, you know, it's just stupid. You know, there's no trust. But then, you know, why not? Because the country's been overflooded by illegal immigration and migration, and people don't have the current customs of each other anymore. The customs of the people, which are entrenched in law, are being threatened. Priti Patel wants to write off, you know, our English history and rewrite it with a new woke constitution, which is, you know, guilty when recorded by a device, guilty, not by your own peers, but you haven't got any peers anymore because your peers are all different customs. So, you know, you know, this is what David Starkey was on about the other day, you know, literally, you know, this whole thing can't sustain itself because it's massacred. It's messed up. It's fucked. You know, they massacred it. Total mess. But, you know, so routine, the word routine, that's what I think Russell Brand and Kennedy missed out of their talk. The word routine. It's not just the addiction of the foods. It's not just the addictions of the chemicals and the fact of you wanting it. They're playing on the routine. Everyone gets into kind of a little bit of a routine or a habit and their comfort zone, and they go through this kind of like weekly routine which they're comfortable with. And when they install and set up these things and get them to become part of your routine, it's hard to get out of it. So it's not just the actual substances they've manufactured, it's a strategic implementation. And that's when it comes down to like the fucking rat maze. They've done all this in the fucking lab with the rats and the whole thing, and which is the sad, unfortunate part about it, because we are effectively now nothing more than these rats, you know, and Starmer's just obviously a very important one, very prestigious one who gets to make up the rules of the rats, you know. So, you know, this is it. So it's routine. I got into a good routine where I was keeping healthy, even though I couldn't, you know, completely and totally stop, you know, getting these certain things, which I shouldn't have been getting. But when it got messed up, what they did is someone messed up my routine because they ruined all the places that I like to go to, so I didn't go there anymore. So my health routine got attacked by other individuals, other persons affected my routine. It could have been local people who, you know, go build or change something, but it could have been these people with the council or these people building these things. And that's what happens to your village, you know. They're changing your routine when the farmer, at least the farmer in America out in Arizona, who's got to drive all the way to the diner, or at least go to he's got to make his way to the pub, even if he drives there, and he's doing his work and moving his body and keeping fit. Once they implant all these Chinese and Indian restaurants and that around him, then he's changing and affecting his routine. It's not just him and it's not just the food, it's where it's positioned, where it is, and what routines you can go to. And this is why they're wanting to do all these 15-minute cities and stopping in Oxford, you're moving between certain zones, which is just a breach of freedom and insane. The first thing they should do in Oxford is this. You know, they should just ban Chinese restaurants, Indian takeaways, make them illegal, right? Why infringe on people's rights, the freedom to go where you want when you want? Instead, they should have got rid of the things that are causing. Why would people want to go there anyway? Oh, because there's a Chinese restaurant there, or because there's pizza or whatever. At least, if you're going to some kind of obscure or rare shop or bookshop or something, not that, Kindle hadn't burnt it down or whatever, but, or see some friends in a certain quarter or part, they're doing the wrong things. They're going about the wrong method. And if they can't afford to make certain foods illegal when they know it's harmful, that's their problem. If you've built up a government that can't afford to sustain itself with tax drops, if you eradicate all harmful substances because you need those to keep your government ticking over, then you're fucked. You are a evil government that is knowingly sustaining itself from harming your citizens, and you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should fuck off, right? You should stand down, clock out, and fuck off. And you should start, going to the fucking middle of, why is it that America in only, since 16, 17, 18, 19, 2000, 400 years, right? Why is it we've got all of America as it is, USA, in 400 or so years, right? And Australia, even though the most of Australia's are on the coast and not so much in the middle, right? What's in Africa? Nothing. I mean, yes, we've got South Africa, St. Petersburg, but it's not like, okay, Africa's got its natives and so forth, and I know the desert's hot, but so is Arizona. There's loads of, Africa's a massive continent, and it's a lot closer, why isn't Australia around the coast of Africa? Why haven't we got, like, instead of Dakar, why haven't you got fucking Sydney, the whole thing, it's, don't go there, they've just kind of left it. It's not, they could have had solar powers, and running the whole fucking planet, in the fucking Sahara. They could have solar panels in the Sahara running the whole fucking planet. Is it a racial thing with Africa or what? I don't know. But it's a hell of a lot closer than fucking Africa, Australia, that's for sure, and America. They haven't implemented things there. They haven't built things there. Why didn't Bill Gates buy the Sahara? He could get it for cheap. Why didn't Bill Gates just, I'll buy the Sahara. I'll just buy it. Why don't you just fucking cover the entire Sahara in fucking in solar panels, if that knocks some electricity out, I don't know what does, this is the thing. Why don't you, Silicon Valley, why don't you start, why don't they just build, a new city like Ibiza in the middle of Africa, like Burning Man, and get everyone there? Or is that the point of Burning Man? Is that the point of the name of it? Is it trying to make some kind of point out of something? Instead, they've got all these people in Burning Man in America, as loon balls, as lunatics, as kind of like, they've got all these kind of like American, people who are building all these weird sculptures and things, or like peace and love or whatever, in their own kind of communities, but it's almost kind of like the Lost Tribe or the Left Tribe. It's not Silicon Valley, and it's not, the Chinese social point system. Maybe it's altruistic people who don't need to control other people, who just want to live in peace, although they've got an intelligence, and that intelligence is like peace and love. Maybe that intelligence is, peace and love and do no harm, and, fair deals and fair trading, and they don't need to take X billions off people like Bezos does, right? It's almost like an altruistic tribe. Now, that is no good to China, because, China is like, social point system, surveillance everywhere. It's no good to MI5 chief. It's no good to the Department of Innovation and Technology. But notice, our crime level is through the fucking roof, right? Our crime level is through the roof with immigrants and, crimes that have gone up ridiculously. If everyone was like there's Burning Man people out in the fucking sticks, with their trailer parks, but they're all getting on with each other, these white Americans with their, sculptures and that lot, isn't that really the innovation and technology that they really need and want, where every individual person is behaving themselves voluntarily of their own will? But instead, they're misbehaving and everyone isn't. But the government think that the best thing to do is get cameras everywhere, tech and spyware and AI and so forth. It's all the computer, the mobile phone, the thing is going to save it, right? And they think that fucking Burning Man, fucking American, Mr. Altruism in the fucking Arizona desert, that's no use to them. Altruism is no good. Friendship and sharing and trust, it's no use. It's no use to the empire of Silicon Valley and, these Department of Innovation and Technology, right? But really, that is what they do need. They do need that. But it's no money to them, it's no profit. Because if you click your fingers, right, and all these people who are breaking the law, right, suddenly stop breaking the law, right, and start sharing things with each other, right, there's no profit. And this is what I've said. They don't want people to get along and love and care about each other because there is no profit in it. And they also don't need the tech. If you've got loads of people around you you're getting on with as friends, why the fuck do you need Facebook? Why the fuck do you need X? Why the fuck do you need Instagram? You don't need it. You can chuck your phone in the bin, right? They don't want that. These people like tech. They like gadgets. They don't want people talking because they'll all vote for the same party and get along with each other. And they'll chuck the devices away. They want people to buy these devices, use these devices, look at these devices, be on these devices, and these devices to look at them so they can see what everyone's doing, and I think that's the difference. They don't actually want the actual innovation to be us, unless they can do it with the machines, but they're hoping that these machines can chastise or cleanse everyone to a certain behaviour. I don't think that the machines are going to do that because they're doing it by taking away freedoms. You got to want to do it. It's got to come from the soul, from the spirit, from who you are, right? And teach other people to do it, not forced in a device when the person doesn't really get it or understand it. Because this is how you break people. You're breaking people. And then you got Keir Starmer who wants assisted suicide. It's all just fucking wrong, right? And, that's the thing. It's. I think they're going about it the wrong way, and it's all about profit anyway. It's all actually about money and profit and who gets to decide or control. What people they want to know what everyone's up to and what everyone's doing, because they've created a mess, really. But trying to go back onto the point, it's about strategic planning and building and implementing things. These people have positioned and built and installed and got the power to get planning approved for the whole thing. And it's very difficult now for most people to get out of that. And if people are healthy and they aren't suffering, they won't be that bothered about it. The majority of these Democrat type people like Harris and Biden, even though Biden is like getting old and losing his memory, a lot of those people at that Democrat convention, it's like I'm alright, Jack, yeah? It's like they've got their fans, they've got the YouTube channels, they've got the followers, everything's going right for them. They don't need to be concerned about, a lot of the things that's happening. And most of them, if you're into game shows and entertainment, as long as you're being entertained, there is no emergency. There's no emergency to most of these mainstream TV people and game show people. I'm alright, Jack. As long as you've got fans screaming, you're all right. I think that's a conundrum with Brand because, he's actually not on that side. He's not on the side of, surveillance tech and taking away freedoms. But in order to, advocate his side, he's got to get in the spotlight, which, it's not like he doesn't like it. And that's why I'm not in the quarter of Russell Brand. I'm in a different quarter to Brand. Because I don't think that is the answer or solution. But what else have we got at the moment if we can't help and try to explain to each other? But really, brand is kind of really assisting and helping this whole game show and mainstream TV side, really, because they're on their own side. Even though they're against each other, they're against each other in the other half, while the people on the other half, are still kind of against each other, because there's some who want surveillance and all this security and some who don't, even though they're not in the spotlight. But why do they need it, or should they? Because they're being forced on with the tech, whether they like it or not, and it's intruding into people's lives, so people have to respond to it. But what can we do when we have been given these phones? We were promised that they'll solve problems, and then it's consent, accept, submit. Then they upgrade it and update it. Now, accept, consent, submit. And then once you get to need and use the phone, you can't get rid of it. And you're consenting to every single thing that they do, right? You're getting to consent to absolutely everything, which is the total opposite from legislation and voting and the law and petitioning, which is that the people say, we want this, we want that. And the model at the moment is that the developers we don't even vote for them. We've consented and accepted to have their devices, and now they can do what the hell they want to us with these things, which is terrible. It's not even an addiction with the phones. It's kind of like they've got you to, it's part of your life and part of what you do. I haven't really done absolutely anything. Mainly because we've been trying to sort out problems at the government. They haven't admitted that they put illegal road signs everywhere. They haven't refunded all the fines. They haven't admitted, they're doing the seatbelt law wrong. I don't care whether it's safe or not. They fucked up with it. It's a lie. It's more evidence that they're fucking up with the legislation than the Magna Carta and the ancient liberties of London. Every time they're breaking the law. But the whole basis that they put is you have to follow the law. You have to obey the law, right? But all these new things they're doing, why not do things that are not breaking the law? Well, we get to make the law. No, you get to make and change the law lawfully, right? It has to be coherent and correct and not a false statement or a lie, and they're wanting us to do all these, no disinformation, but yeah, they're just, doing things that can't be done, that aren't actually possible, which are a lie, so, until this government admits that it has made critical severe errors, and that's confessions, that's cleansing, but the government are like at the moment, London needs cleansing, we need to take all these vehicles off people, we need to get rid of this smog. It's the people that need cleansing. Yeah, it's the government who have broken the law, lied, cheated. They're the ones, who need cleansing, and do things right and lawful. They're not going to admit it because people are going to kick off. So we're at this stalemate situation where they're just inching, they're just tightening up the spanner with, MI5 and his fucking chief, tightening up the spanner, getting more ULEZ cameras out there, getting more facial recognition. It's just tightening up. Well, you're not supposed to be doing that, mate. It's illegal. It's against the Magna Carta, which you can't repeal. And where are our jury trials and why you're taking our vehicles off us? That's illegal. Tightening up that spanner is illegal. You're doing an unlawful act, mate. You're a criminal. Well, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Pay no attention. You're just tightening the spanner up. Well, all the people, 500,000 people said they don't want 20 mile an hour in Wales. 500,000 people said they don't want ULEZ. And further to that, it's criminal and illegal. We're just tightening the spanner up. This is the thing. These people, they need to they're possessed. And they've done that much bad that it's too serious to admit it. Because, every single person is just going to be furious. And, they can't, it's too serious. It's unsafe to admit that they are wrong. It's unsafe, it's dangerous to admit they are criminals. And when you've got a government who can't admit they've done wrong because it's too dangerous for them to do that, you've got a very, very, serious problem. A very, very serious problem. Because then it's like self-sacrifice, isn't it? That's the thing, So we've got this government has got a serious problem because it won't admit it's wrong, and it's actually compulsively lying now to get itself out of trouble. Or what happens is these minions have to, stand down. They got loads of Labour Party people resigning, loads of Labour Party people dropping out. The American government's got high-ranking officials in government resigning. It's literally like, guess who? It's this puppetry, But the machine itself needs to, someone needs to say that it is broken, wrong, and it needs fixing. That's the issue. But it's all set up, we've got harmful habits and regimes in place. Maybe that's what they're trying to do with Oxford, stop people from going across these quarters of the city, but that's wrong. I don't think that the answer is more taking away freedoms and liberties when it wasn't our fault. I think that, there are other things. The government aren't going to do it the way they need to do it because it's going to be too much of a financial burden. They can't afford to. It's like, okay, you could fix this by doing this. Well, we'll go bankrupt though. Well, either go bankrupt or, we'll sacrifice everyone's freedoms instead. Like, fuck them. We're not going to do it. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The way where the government goes bankrupt, or the way where we take away our freedoms and liberties. Or we'll do it the way where we take away freedoms and liberties. All these big corporate entities bought up all the food places, right? Took ownership of them. Well, they can just fucking shut them down. They'll have to just, they'll have to voluntarily close, right? Just shut down, and don't trade anymore, right? And it's just not there, like they did in California when all the main shops shut down, but people are getting it from Jeff, These places just need to give up, Why not sell these companies and start doing something that's productive, healthy for everyone, that we want and need, not things that we don't want or that are harmful. And that's pretty much it. They can switch business. They've done it with tobacco. They banned all the advertising from, tobacco. It's taken a big hit. They need to do it with other things, But the problem is there are lots of things in life that we should be doing that don't cost anything, like talking to each other, like playing beach volleyball or whatever it is. There are lots and lots of things in life which are fun and free, even without having to play board games. You don't even need the board game. You don't even need the mobile phone game. Just people actually talking to each other. In fact, I don't know that who on this planet can say that the best times that they haven't had is when they just sat talking with a group of friends and having a good time. And government don't need to be listening into it, because if you're having a good time with friends, why the fuck do you need to be plotting to, steal MI5 chief's fucking, spyglasses? You don't, there's far more interesting things to do. Too much boredom makes Jack a dull boy. This is the problem, It's getting the right people to find the right people, right? So everyone is happy, and it doesn't have to be money that makes them happy or buying something at a point of sale, right? And that's a problem. No one needs to be making money out of you being happy and enjoying the same thing. You could be having a ball of a time going picking strawberries and providing food, and then walking to somewhere to, play in the park or whatever. This is the thing. You don't have to force people to do that. What they've built around us is, terrible. It's bad ideas. Bad ideas built on bad ideas, and they're still knocking at bad ideas. It's there's a lot of people on this planet who want to do things which aren't that technical or complicated, and they've never been able to do them because they're not in the right place at the right time. And the things that I think that the tech people want, like Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, is very different fulfillment to what most normal people want or need. And I think that most people are too busy working, tied to the workplace, to do what they actually really want to do in life. And I actually think a lot of this tech is just the fad, the hobby, the interest of some of these tech people, right? And it was meant to be for convenience. And these tech people are really, this is what they like. Oh, I like making tech. I like thinking of, metaverse stuff. I like doing all these things. And they push it on everyone else when it's not everyone else's actual solution that they want in their life. And it actually ends up taking over their life and stopping them from doing what they actually really, really want to do and where they want to go. It's a sidetrack. It's a sideshow. And it is a hijacking. It is a Shanghai. We're actually being shanghaied by these tech people. And they're making the amount of money they're making out of it and advertising stuff that people don't want or need. I think that's the problem. So, it's the whole odd. And now no one trusts each other. Now they're telling people not to trust each other. There used to be a phone book in the Yellow Pages. We can't be... How can we have progressed since 1970 when now people are telling people not to speak to each other or do anything? Why are there even people who are wanting to hack us and spy on people and on all these stupid news programs? All these news channels that are snooping in on people because they ain't got better to do. The devil's advocate, because they have fun and poking fun at other people, nosing in other people's business. That's the problem.